How's everyone doing? I'm back here again for another movie review, and in this video I'm going to be talking about an upcoming release from Midnight Releasings, and that film is called Ghost Note. And this is a pretty well-rounded and solid independent film in my opinion. It's got a good mix of everything. It's got good atmosphere, some creepy moments, good performances from the cast and crew, and a good score as well. So I'd say it's an overall pretty solid film. Now the film begins during a time period in which blues musicians were very popular in bars and in restaurants. In the opening scene you see a blues musician performing on stage playing his guitar, and you see a large group of people sitting around tables watching him. And as you're watching this, you sort of notice that the people are almost in a trance by him. They're all sort of sitting there with blank expressions on their face, sort of watching him. And after the musician is done playing his song, one of the men who are sitting at a table in front of the stage stands up, puts a gun to his head, and shoots himself in the temple. So that's when you sort of realize there's something about this blues musician. Well, in the next scene in the movie, you see the musician walk out from the like I said, the bar, the restaurant that he was just playing at, and he is attacked by somebody from behind. And he then wakes up tied to a chair. He has a sort of a mouth trap around his face, and the man who knocked him out ends up torturing him. He ties barbed wire around his head. He pours hot coals on his head, and while he's doing this, he is reciting passages from the Bible. During this time, the blues musician is sitting there, and he's telling him, you don't know what you're doing, boy. I'm going to come back. And as he's saying this, the man who tied him up there takes out a knife and goes to kill him, and right before he kills him, the musician says that he will be back. Then it cuts to present time, and you're introduced to the main character of the film named Mallory. And Mallory is a rebellious teenager. She's Wiccan, and you get the feeling she doesn't like hanging out with her parents. She's about to go to her grandmother's house for Thanksgiving dinner, and you can tell she's not really thrilled about it. Unbeknownst to her, her parents are actually going to be going out on vacation. So Mallory will be staying at her grandmother's house for about a week, and when she finds out about this, she's not very happy. You do also find out that Mallory's grandfather was not very good to Mallory's dad or any of his other kids. You find out, while they're sitting there at Thanksgiving dinner, one of Mallory's uncles starts talking about how much of an asshole his father was, or his grandfather was, his father was, and he's just very irritated about him. You find out that he was a drunk and that he used to beat them, and of course this upsets Mallory's grandmother. Now Mallory has to sit. She can't sit with the adults at the kitchen table. She has to sit with the kids. And the kids keep asking her all these different questions about her being a Wiccan. Like at one point they ask her, can you make people disappear? Of course, young kids, they're not going to really understand the Wiccan religion as much. And, of course, she says, no, I can't do that. Well, then they ask her if they can do a spell or do a cantation. And Mallory humors them and says, yeah, sure. So in the next scene, they're up in Mallory's grandmother's attic, and they actually sit there and do a spell. And while this is happening, they hear a very strange noise. And when Mallory goes to investigate, she finds this old guitar, this old acoustic guitar, with the name Eugene Burns written on it. And she thinks this is very, very weird. But yeah, after Thanksgiving dinner, Mallory is told that she's not going to be going home with her parents. She's going to be staying there, and obviously she's kind of upset about this, but there's not much that she can do. Well, later on, she's actually meets one of her old friends, Rodney, and he's listening to some blues music. And she starts, asks him a bit about blues musicians, and he tells her that a lot of musicians used to, what they would do is sell their soul to the devil as a way of sort of, so that they would be able to play guitar. There's a lot of musicians that have actually said that they've done, or a lot of blues musicians that are believed to have done that. I guess you would say it's sort of a folklore, not really folklore, but sort of an urban legends in the blues music. Sort of, the musicians that first started playing, they would sell their soul to the devil. Well, then Mallory mentions the name Eugene Burns, and she asks if Ronnie has ever heard of him. And Ronnie says that Eugene used to be a musician, and that he went on a killing spree and has never been heard from again. He just sort of disappeared after going on a killing spree for a long time. He was never caught. He also tells her that Eugene actually recorded a blues album, and that after someone hears the album, they would commit suicide. So that is about as far as the plot of the film that I want to go, because I don't want to give too much away. So overall, I thought this film was a pretty solid film. I really did enjoy it. The story is not incredibly original, but it's a good twist on it. Like I said, the acting is pretty good from everybody, especially Mallory and Eugene Burns. He has a great performance as well. And overall, it's just an overall solid, independent film. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, this movie will be coming out on August 1st onto Amazon VOD, DVD, and a lot of other platforms. I'll leave a link down below to the trailer of the movie if you want to check it out. If you're a fan of independent films, this is definitely one that I'd recommend looking up, because this is, like I said, a pretty solid and enjoyable film. So yeah, if you guys think that this movie sounds interesting, check it out. Like I said, it will be released on August 1st to different platforms. I'll leave a link down below, like I said, to the trailer as well as the Facebook page of the film, so you can keep up to date on where you can check the film out. Anyway, guys, thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks everyone for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. If this sounds interesting to you guys, check the film out when it comes out. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.